Hello, welcome back. I am Statman Dave, and this is the Full-Time Devils preview of Manchester United versus Newcastle in the Premier League. I'm joined by two legends of the game. We've got Suf and we've got Lee from Newcastle Fans TV. Anyway, it's been a long time coming, this preview. We've had to get through the international break. We've had to watch England draw with Brazil 0-0. How boring was that? The only bright spot, of course, Marcus Rashford. But the two managers that will be going head-to-head, Benitez up against Mourinho. Suf, this is one hell of a battle waiting to happen, right?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, it depends how you look at it, innit? For Newcastle fans, it's obviously a bigger game, United away. They're obviously a massive club in their own eyes and all of that. But I think between the managers, they've got their history. Obviously, it started in 2005 when Liverpool beat Chelsea, didn't they, in the Champions League? So yeah, they've always had a bit of to and fro with each other and sort of war of words. But I think it's just going to be a bit of an interesting sort of dynamic between them. But I think all of that sort of died down over the past few years, hasn't it? Ever since Benitez went everywhere and destroyed the clubs, and even the biggest clubs in Europe has destroyed them. So hopefully he's not doing too bad with Newcastle. So let's just wish him all the best there.
He's doing a fantastic job at Newcastle. They got one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. Only Manchester City, Manchester United and Burnley and Spurs have conceded fewer goals. There's been a war of words between the two managers, blow for blow. But Lee, do you think that will sort of affect the players, the rivalry between Benitez and Mourinho?
I don't think so as yet. I think the 18 months since Rafa's been at Newcastle, he hasn't really had an interaction with Mourinho, and this is the first time that they've come clashing heads. I don't think Rafa will spark it. I think it'll be Mourinho's like a ticking time bomb. He could literally go off like a hand grenade. We've all seen that the other week as well when he was doing that. This is unpredictable character. You just don't know what he's got, but it will stem from Mourinho. If Rafa was to get a result, I'm expecting Mourinho to just say something out the blue in his press conference or something. But
fat Spanish waiter.
Absolutely, just crack up. My favourite quote from Mourinho, of course, to Benitez. When talking about him, how many championships has Benitez won since he joined Liverpool? None, in fact. But anyway, let's move on to more important things, and that is Marouane Fellaini, who apparently rejected a new £120,000 per week contract at Manchester United. For me, he may be worth a little bit more. Suf, what do you think about Fellaini and being a tactical weapon over Mourinho's reign?
Look, yeah, I think Fellaini's definitely been underappreciated since he's joined the club. Like you said, he's a bit of a tactical weapon, and some managers would love to have that kind of player in their team because he can come on and we can start going direct. In the past few months, since Pogba got injured against Basel, he's come on and we got a goal and an assist. And since then, he went on a really good run, scoring goals and having good games before the international break, leading up to the Liverpool game. He got injured against Belgium, for Belgium, sorry, and he obviously didn't come back fit. And yeah, we've had a bit of a rocky patch. But is he worth more than 120k? I don't even think he's worth 120k a week, to be honest with you, because he is. He's a squad player, and I think being at Man United should be enough, to be honest, because like I said, at Everton he was their star man. But look at the type of club Everton are. If he goes to somewhere else, I think he'll be appreciated and he'll be worth maybe 100 grand or 120 grand for them as a star player. But I think at Man United, he's been really good. Mourinho's the kind of manager who can galvanise him. He's the kind of manager who'll tell Fellaini, go and poke that guy in the eye, and Fellaini will just do it and have no shame about it whatsoever as well. But I don't think he's worth anything more than 100 grand a week. And if he's rejecting us, then let him go. I don't think he'll be that big of a loss in the long term. In the short term, maybe, but I'm sure we'll find a suitable replacement.
I think in the short term, I think Fellaini's a great weapon, from the bench or even starting. You mentioned the game against Basel. Against Crystal Palace, he grabbed the brace. And one man that was feeding him was Ashley Young. Ashley Young's assisted 36% of Fellaini's goals since moving to Manchester United, of course, the big Belgium. Lee, in terms of Fellaini, is that a player that you look at the opponent, you look at the Manchester United squad and you think, oh, Newcastle are going to have a plan to deal with Marouane Fellaini?
Nah, unfortunately not. We don't. From the outside looking in, I think he's struggled at United. It looks like this season he's got 3 goals. But when you look at Manchester United, you think if Ibrahimovic is not available, then you think of Rashford, Lukaku, Mkhitaryan, Mata. They're the first ones you're going to throw out. And then going towards the defensive line, you would say that De Gea if Newcastle have that 1 or 2 chances, expect him at least pull off a worldie. Because they've got some world-class players, but Fellaini, not for me.
Talking about world-class players, of course, Suf, who is in your starting team? What formation are you playing? And of course, are you going to captain Marouane Fellaini?
So I've gone for a start a 4-2-3-1. I don't think he'll play the 3-5-2 that he played against Chelsea, against Newcastle. I don't think it's that kind of game. I've got a back five of De Gea, Valencia on the right, Bailly, Smalling and Young. Obviously Jones is injured and he's not been a fan of Blind playing as a defensive two. In the midfield I've got Ander Herrera, Nemanja Matic. There are only 2 available options. Obviously Fellaini is available too, but I don't think he'll start tomorrow. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he does. This is Mourinho. We've got Mata, Mkhitaryan and Rashford leading the front line. Mata on the right, Rashford on the left, and obviously big man Lukaku up front, who hopefully has regained a bit of his confidence back after scoring for Belgium. You know, he's taken a lot of stick recently, but he's actually been one of our most industrious players. Even when he's not been scoring, he's been working his balls off, you know, to ensure that his teammates are getting involved in goals, as evidenced by his involvement in Martial's goal against Spurs, Rashford's goal at Huddersfield, and the 2 goals against Benfica in the Champions League. So hopefully, you know, for his own sake, to shut his critics up, I hope he scores a brace or even a hat-trick against Newcastle. Sorry, Lee.
He's a player that I'm not concerned with his form at all. As you mentioned, the contribution against Spurs, the contribution against Huddersfield. I think he's just not getting served the chances that he was getting before. Anyway, guys, I want to see from you guys at home. Get into the comments below. We're playing the Select Your Team game. So, of course, you want to, you know, pick your players, get it correct. Of course, a shout out to Big Joshy, who got 11 out of 11 in the Chelsea preview. In terms of away fans, though, we've seen some good performances. Paul from Redmen TV getting 11 out of 11, and Nick from the West Ham fan channel. But now, Lee, it's your turn. Who's going to start for Newcastle? What formation is Benitez going to play?
We'll play the 4-2-3-1. That's what Rafa sets up, and it'll be a very counter-attack system. We'll sit back and try and pick off your attack. It all depends on our key men. I mean, Lascelles might not be available. Christian Atsu and Mikel Merino, they are 3 massive players for Newcastle. You guys might look at it and think, they're okay players, but for us, they are absolutely huge. Jamal Lascelles has talked that he could be going for England. Mikel Merino brings the ball from the defensive midfield to attack, and he can run with the ball. So if those guys are missing, Rafa will go with Elliott in goal. Then it'll be DeAndre Yedlin, Florian Lejeune, Kieran Clark, who had a nightmare the other night for Ireland. Then you'll have Javier Manquillo at left back. The 2 sitting in front of them, you'll have Isaac Hayden, John Joe Shelby, I think, is our key player. On the right, I think it'll be Matt Ritchie. I think Jacob Murphy will come into left midfield. He has struggled since he signed from Norwich. And I think in the number 10 it'll be Perez. And I think, unfortunately, it'll be Joselu up top.
Joselu has been a problem for some teams. So who do you think in that sort of Newcastle team do you worry about? John Joe Shelby in midfield, Matt Ritchie on the wing. Who's your danger man?
Christian Atsu, I thought, but he's not playing, is he? He's injured, isn't he? So if he can get himself fit, I think he might pose a bit of a threat. But that DeAndre Yedlin as well, if he gets forward, he's fast, and that's why I've gone for Rashford on the left because of his defensive work rate as well. But to be honest, I think when it teams like, no disrespect to Newcastle, but when teams like that come to Old Trafford, anyone can be a star man. Because,
exactly.
You know, it's the
way of the world, of course.
Trafford, yeah.
But in terms of Newcastle, for me, I think there's a slight tactical issue. If you can expose the centre-backs in wide areas by maybe third-man runs or direct balls into the channels behind the full-backs, that's where teams like Southampton have caught Newcastle out. Lee, do you think there's any other tactical issues with Newcastle? Do you think that United could exploit maybe central midfield, maybe down the flanks?
Just play 1 at the back and it'll be fine. No, seriously, I think we've got a new centre-back power, and I think Lascelles is key, not being in there. I've said that just before. I think he is the leader, he commands, he's the boss. He's had an outstanding start the season, and we haven't really seen Lejeune and Clark as a partner, as 2 partnerships, so that's an issue. You could probably get Javier Manquillo, who has a mistake in him. Defensively, I think Shelby and Hayden will do okay. Just going forward, that's where we're about Newcastle, because we need to create chances, and with injuries, Mikel Merino being missing again, it's difficult, you know.
Mikel Merino, for me, has been one of the best players in the Premier League. One of the signings, he's been so good. He's won more tackles than any other Newcastle player in the Premier League this season. But I think that direct style from Newcastle United should be able to deal that with centre-backs. They're very direct. They go to Joselu and they look for Perez in the channels. But anyway, enough from me. Suf, give me a score prediction. What is the score going to be? Manchester United, Newcastle?
3. Newcastle 0.
Nice.
I think, yeah,
3-0.
I think 3-0, a solid performance. Lukaku definitely has to score, just for his own sake. I hope he does. I'm not going to be gutted if he doesn't. Just the point of Newcastle as well. I think, you know, they've had a lot of ups and downs, haven't they, recently? They've been a bit of a yo-yo club, but, you know, surprisingly, I would never thought I'd, in a million years, say this about Rafa Benitez, but I think he's found himself a home at Newcastle. Yeah. The fans seem to love him, and he seems to have got their respect, and he's definitely the kind of manager, you know, who can give him that Premier League stability and get him pushing into the Europa League and, you know, up the table. So all the best to the guy. I just hope we beat him tomorrow.
All the best for Rafa Benitez. I think tactically he's been fantastic. But Lee, score prediction from you. We're going to go with a Newcastle away win?
No, my heart would say I would love a draw, to try and nick a draw at Old Trafford. I don't think it's going to be pretty. It's not going to be a 4-3. It's going to be scrappy from both sides. But my head says that, unfortunately, Man United will win this 2-0. I hate to say that.
2-0 United, 3-0 United. I'm going to go 5-0 United. Lukaku hat-trick. Mkhitaryan brace. United are going to explode in an attacking sense. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. Of course, Suf and Lee from Newcastle Fans TV. Make sure, of course, if you want to check out more Newcastle content, jump over there and give them a little subscribe. I've been Statman Dave. Check me out on YouTube as well. I'm going to be dropping a tactical preview on the game. See you later. Over and out.